Hello everyone. I'm going to first off I'm going to start off this video and just like quickly apologize cuz I put in a late night of gaming with my friends and then forgot that I had to be here at the shop early to pick up a UPS order, which is what I'm waiting on now. So I am underslept, I am disheveled. I have this really bad breakout that you're just gonna have to put up with. I apologize. Skin conditions are wonderful, but the grind never ends, and neither do I. So here we are. We gotta get a video out. But luckily, it's a Monday. That means we can do a news roundup. Nice and easy, low pressure. Just kind of hang out, talk about the week's worth of Transformer news, because we got some interesting ones this week. And it starts with this thing that has popped up on eBay, which is a World Fair catalog from 1984, showing off the last range of Diaclone toys before they would become Transformers. And it's a really fun look back at the window of the past. You can see the original concept art, like the original box art there for Powered Convoy that would eventually become Ultra Magnus. Of course, the original Convoy underneath. And you can see speckled in with all of these like familiar G1 looks are all of these, like the ones that we now know as the Diaclone collection. The black skids. You get Trailbreaker with extra detail going on. You've got a black Ironhide. Let's see, who else can we spot here? Oh, well, yeah, a Red Tracks or Road Rage that we know her as now. It's a really quick, it's a really fun look. You know, it's a really fun look back at some of these. You can see the original color scheme for the Constructicons in the two-tone orange and gray parts. You can see Raiden there in his original form. Just a little like, I'll be honest, I don't know what these are. I don't know what these are. More Takara toys that actually shape, change, and transform. And then like transforming watches. We got some of those in the U.S. Look at the ones at the bottom. Look at the ones at the bottom. As far as I know, they were never produced beyond just this concept art, but we got Godzilla and Gamera, who were going to be in the same little line of Takara watches that transformed. Oh, I missed that. I could have had a transforming Gamera watch. I would have been all over that. And there's other ones, like here's the egg bots that would eventually come up in Beast Wars 2. Yeah, it's just a fascinating look back at Transformer and technically Takara history. This is still available on eBay for the low price of $4,500. And even after attention from major Transformer news sites, no one is still even trying to bid on that. It's an outrageous price. It's a very rare thing, but essentially it's just a picture book. So it's probably going to be sitting around for a long time. Someone will eventually buy it when they are willing to lower the price. Doesn't look like they have lately, but it's a thing. So speaking of product listings, we have a little bit of info from what's going to happen at the Brand Licensing Europe event this year, which is where we're going to see a lot of Rise of the Beast for the first time. And it's just basically like an interview that said like we're going to see certain things for this. For Rise of the Beast, we're going to be seeing like posters, apparel, stationery, gift items. For EarthSpark, we're going to see pocket and fidget toys, arts, crafts, apparel, calendars, diaries. I know, terribly exciting stuff. Like I know you can't. You're throwing your money at the screen right now. Trust me. Like I want my Rise of the Beast stationery too. I also want my EarthSpark fidget toys. Don't get too excited. All right, calm yourself. Calm. The good news about this, and what is actually exciting, is the fact that this is sometimes the first way we actually get to see some of the Rise of the Beast designs. Or in the past, this is how like new characters have accidentally gotten out. We've seen them for the first time. Things like this are kind of like they kind of fall through the cracks a little bit. No one really pays attention to them, so when they drop and we get to see characters for the first time, it's actually kind of cool. So keep an eye on it. We might actually get something interesting out of it. Or we might just get kids' underwear with the Rise of the Beast logo on it. I don't know. Alright. Let's look at some new toys we can look forward to buying in the near future. So, and let's see. Killerbody has produced what looks to be a super high-end mask of Dark of the Moon Megatron, which is interesting that Dark of the Moon Megatron is the one that gets this. But of course, I think it's the most interesting display, isn't it? So this thing is just an absolutely massive mask, super high detailed. This thing has sound effects, voice clips, LEDs, moving parts, which I don't necessarily know if that means like servo and motor moved parts or parts that you can adjust. But either way, this is a really high-end piece. And it's probably going to cost a lot of money. Aside from the fact that I also believe this is an imported item as well. So expect that to be a lot of money. And then we have this as well from Killerbody. This is what they're calling a high-end baby figurine. I'm sorry. Last time, normally when you offer something called a high-end baby, it's something really shady's going on that I really don't want to be involved with. But yeah, it's just like a super chibi Dark of the Moon Megatron. I don't know why they love Dark of the Moon Megatron so much, but they do. Comes with a little torn poncho and everything. It's another bizarre one, but you know what? I know some movie collectors would probably be all over this, so can't fault you. The mask, I think, is a lot cooler than the little big-headed baby toy, though. Let's talk about some toys that we're actually going to be able to find at American retail at a reasonable price. So, Velocitron Wave 2 has official stock imagery out now. This stuff released really fast overseas, to the point where for like the first time in the longest time I can remember, like a proper like collector's Transformer toy was actually spotted at a retail shelf before any announcement or leak. Because like while we had news of Crasher, Shadowstrip completely took everybody off guard. Everyone. So it looks like Velocitron is how we're getting G2 Stunticons. And more fascinating to me is the fact that it's a completely new name. So are they actually making new characters out of the G2 Stunticons? That is interesting. Now I'm sure it's to avoid some brand confusion with the ones that are already on the shelves, but it's still interesting to me that they're choosing to create someone completely new here. So, we have full stock photos, and this one makes me so happy because the last time we repainted Mirage into this GoBot, they had to call it Fracture because they could not secure the name Crasher. That is amended. We now have, finally, officially, a Crasher in Transformers. Congratulations, a GoBot has fully ascended. And it's probably the best GoBot to bring about. Crasher is still like one of the best female robots of all time. So, yeah, she's using the toy-based prowl head, which still does not look great, but it doesn't look terrible either. I think it looks better in these stock photos than it did the last time we saw it. I still would prefer the new head completely, but I think if she becomes the go-to redeco for Mirage, I think that's going to become a thing eventually. I do think she looks fantastic. I mean, it's not the Le Mans car, but an F1 racer is going to be close, and it doesn't look bad on her. It does not look bad on her. So, really happy to see Crasher as a thing in Transformers now. Also, yeah, Shadowstrip. It's actually weird that we're doing essentially two F1 cars at the same time, and they're both black, and Hasbro really tries to avoid that a lot. So it's kind of fascinating that it broke down that way. I guess with Velocitron, they can kind of get away with that a little bit more. And yeah, G2 drag strip here is looking pretty good. Jet black, gold detail. Nothing to write home about, but not doing anything wrong either. I'm really fascinated with how they're going to release the other G2 Stunticons and what names are going to be, what characters are going to be. Is Menasor getting a new name too? Like, we're going to get a G2 Menasor name? It's fascinating. It is fascinating. So, keeping an eye out. Hopefully, Velocitron continues and we get more of these, or I could see them dropping a few into Buzzworthy too. All right. Speaking of the Velocitron line, we actually do have a product description for the upcoming Voyager Hot Rod, whereas those two deluxes seem to be everything for Wave 2 Deluxe. Hot Rod seems to be the only Wave 2 Voyager we're getting out of the line, and it's basically, it sounds like it's the same figure. The description of the toy says that it is inspired by the animated series, but it is featuring a red deco similar to the original 1986 release. That's what we had before. That's what the first Hot Rod was. Remember, in the Hasbro behind-the-scenes Instagram post on this guy, they were going to go with the animation-accurate maroon and kind of pink color scheme, but Hasbro, like, higher-ups beat it back down until he was his, like, original toy red colors. And because, you know, they like to make sure that Hot Rod stays red. So a repaint, especially in a subline that's going to be like an exclusive, I feel like has a much better shot, should have a much better shot of being that movie accurate coloring. And that is apparently not what we're going to get, which is, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. It sounds like the Hot Rod we're going to get is not much different than the Hot Rod we already got, which that's something of a letdown now. Oh well. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're wrong. We don't have any physical photos of it yet, so wait and see. We might still get it. All right, so we talked about these listings for more War for Cybertron toys yesterday, but we're going to talk about it again because, one, it's appropriate for a news roundup, and also it wasn't the only listings we got. So when they discovered the Voyager War for Cybertron Megatron listing, which is a super exciting listing to me, we also got a Voyager Rise of the Beast Rhinox, confirming that we're getting the big Rhino at that scale. We also saw listings for a Core Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, which is going to be a repaint of Laserbeak. Sounds so weird when I say that. As well as core class figures for Hydra and Delta 2, which are still code names we have not cracked yet. Don't know what characters are involved in those. Hopefully finding out soon. There's only so many characters we know about. So, unless there's something completely new, should be able to boil it down sooner than later. Or we have the little brand thing. Or we have the little brand expo thing where we're going to actually find out names of people. Also, end of the month has PulseCon. We're probably going to get a ton of info there too. So who knows? Who knows? We might actually have the whole lineup by the time the month's out. That's not the only listing, though, because we also got War for Cybertron Optimus at Voyager class, along with Deluxe Wheeljack, so we know what size class he ended up in, and then Red Sound Blaster. I am actually kind of shocked that Red is still going on. It seems like every time I go, it's just the same sea of all the figures that just are not selling. I've actually heard that some of the newer ones are actually pretty good as just action figures of these characters. The ones I played with and bought were just disappointing. They just didn't feel right. They felt softer than, they felt like that softer Marvel Legends plastic, but because the parts are so thick that it felt like really weird and gummy. Maybe just my experience. I don't know if like Shockwave and Galvatron I heard were good. I haven't tried them. I don't know. I'm still just kind of baffled why Red exists, because it feels like we're probably not going to be that far before like Netflix Sound Blaster becomes a thing. Like using that Netflix mold, I could see that absolutely happening in Generations or hey, Buzzworthy sounds like a great place to do that too. We'll see. But yeah, more stuff coming. More stuff to buy. Always more stuff to buy. So they posted another sneak peek video of EarthSpark, and EarthSpark continues to look like it's going to be a really, really good show. This one was focused on Optimus Prime himself, so we get to see a little bit of the Autobot leader in action. He is wielding an Energon weapon. He's going so fast I can't tell if it's a sword or an axe. He's got his traditional rifle as well. It just basically just shows him beating up on your various Decepticons. It also gave us a first look at a Seeker's robot mode in this line, and we don't. And it's hard to tell if this is like. It's hard to tell if this is supposed to be a feminine bot or if it's just like a scrawny interpretation of the original Seeker design. That's going to be interesting to find out too. So first look at the Seekers. It looks fine. It looks like they're going in a slightly different direction like everything else. Okay, Energon Axe. All right, sure. That honestly looks like female Skywarp from Cyberverse. But again, it might just be like going really lanky with the Seekers. So yeah, a big thing about this was we do know now that there's a human Cybertronian alliance, which might just be what they refer to the family as, or it might be something a little bit bigger. And yeah, it was just a lot of really good shots of Optimus Prime. And then, yeah, showing off a little bit of the humor. Oh, that's going to get a lot of meme play. That's going to get a lot of meme play. All right, but it's looking good. Again, I'm like really looking forward to this cartoon. It looks like it's doing a lot of the right things. They also showed off a promotional video that showed a lot of their alt modes. So we actually kind of got names and alt modes as well. Optimus Semi-Truck, of course. Thrash, his motorcycle mode with the sidecar. That's going to be interesting to see how they make a toy of that. All right, Twitch, and we actually get to see well, we've seen Twitch's drone mode several times now, but a few more looks at it. Bumblebee, super sleek sports car. See, Wheeljack, confirming him. He says howdy. He says howdy, partners. I don't know how we like determined that Wheeljack was going to be the cowboy. He went from like the mad scientist of the original team to being like gruffer in Transformers Prime as like one of like the gung-ho wrecker type, and then move into Cyberverse, which is kind of a blend between the two and introduced that Texan accent. And now he's just full-on cowboy. I have no idea where they're going with Wheeljack. I would really just like him to be the mad scientist again. Can we have that, please? He's fun as a mad scientist. And yeah, he's a rally car. Looks fine. It looks like how Wheeljack usually looks. Elita 1, all-terrain 4x4. We've seen her before. Internet buzzed hard over RC. RC, who gets a they call it a muscle car. No, it's a classic car. It's not a muscle car. I tweeted this out. I was like, can we just appreciate that? You know, because everyone was going like, how is that going to be a toy? And like, my whole thing was like, can we just appreciate the fact that for the first time since her creation, the classic style of RC has an Earth mode? Because, like, literally, we've never had that ever. And, like, the tweet exploded. So, like, okay, cool. It's not just me. It does look great. I will agree that her face looks a little bit dead here because of the dark gray. They're trying to separate her helmet from her face. And I feel like it's just the angle bleeding a lot of the, like, muting a lot of the detail, bleeding it into her neck. I feel like it's just like, I feel like it's a bad angle and the bad lighting for Judgment. So I want to see it in the show. This is going to be a logistical nightmare trying to create a toy of it. I'm expecting a very large backpack. I do like that the front end lights are actually her shoulder elements, though. That's a cool touch. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it works as a toy, but yeah, it's not a bad mode. This actually makes me wonder, does that mean that RC's vehicle mode in G1 is actually considered a classic Cybertronian car? I don't know. It's kind of made me consider. It's kind of made me curious about a few things. And yeah, Skullcruncher's in. Skullcruncher's in the show. He looks super buff and awesome. Turns into a crocodile, of course. Swindle, we confirm that is Swindle, turning into a Humvee. So once again, on his own, don't need no Combaticons with him. Soundwave, everyone went nuts over too. I really do like his like new super sharp design. And then he turns into a stealth bomber. Perfect. Works great. Looks great. Megatron is the VTOL, or armored aircraft, they call it. So yeah, looking really, really good. Looking really, really good. So I dwelled on that a long time. Let's just move straight in. So Zavvi has produced these Transformers 24 karat gold coins. One for the Autobots, one for the Decepticons. This looks like something I could 3D print. Like, it doesn't look all that fancy. They come with little display stands. I do mean little. Like, they're just tiny little pieces of plastic. Limited edition. There's only 1,984 of them. I see what you did. But for your coin collectors, it's not bad. And when I checked, they actually aren't too, like, terribly expensive. They're not, like, supercharging them because of the license. So, hey, for coin collectors, it's something. It's something out there. But we're going to end off on something, like, super cool. We talked before about lost media for Transformers Animated. And that was a couple of shorts that never made it to air. One for Starscream, and then one spoofing the original, like, Autobot Decepticon, like, logo scene change flip from the original cartoon. But now we've gotten something genuinely special. So a Twitter user, Kian Carlisle, has posted footage from DVDs that were purchased in a store in California, which Derek Wyatt's private collection was sold to. It's disheartening to have a creator like Derek Wyatt, whose body of work and, like, personal belongings just ended up at essentially a thrift store in California. It's a little depressing when you think about it that way, but at the very least, it ended up in the right hands in order to give us something really, really special and something we've never seen before. So what it was test footage from the original development of Animated. A lot of footage that wasn't even complete. A lot of animation that was just line art that hadn't been inked or colored yet. And it also featured 3 proposed scores from the composers of Teen Titans. So there's a lot of stuff here that we'd never seen before. Like an animation sequence for Optimus Prime. Character designs are slightly different. You know, you can see right here. Yeah. Nanosec shown battling Prowl. It's just a super fascinating look. Last I checked, they were going to try to rip it properly so we could see, like, all of the footage, because apparently this wasn't all of it. Yeah, and just, like, super interesting stuff. And, like, it's so rare that we get lost Transformers media. In this case, it doesn't even seem lost. It seems like stuff we were never, ever going to see, except in this unfortunate circumstance. So it's interesting to me that even after his passing, Derek is giving something to the Transformer community. And it's not only special and a little bit sad, but for him also kind of appropriate. So that's going to do it for this news roundup. Like I said, a lot of interesting stuff came up this week. Yeah, super cool stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Despite my disheveled condition, I will be back tomorrow. We'll be doing more stuff as we always do. So, I will see you then. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.